had been patient, perhaps for months I endured Samantha's smirks, her whispered comments behind my back, the way she treated me as if I were nothing more than a relic clinging to my late wife's fortune. She thought she had me cornered, she thought I was weak. But people like Samantha always make one fatal mistake: they underestimate the quiet ones. The day of reckoning came sooner than she imagined. The grand dining hall of the Mitchell estate gleamed that evening, chandeliers burning bright, polished silver catching the light. It wasn't a wedding this time, but an investment dinner Samantha had arranged, her way of parading her supposed power before some very wealthy guests, real estate magnates, bankers, to politicians, and even the dean of the university her father had once funded. Samantha floated around the room in a crimson dress, her laughter too loud, her hand grazing every elbow in calculated charm. She wanted everyone to see her as the new matriarch, the woman who had taken command of the Mitchell wealth. She didn't notice me watching. She never really saw me at all. I waited until the champagne was poured, until the clink of glasses signaled the speeches were about to begin, and then I stood. My chair scraped against the polished floor, sharp as a blade. Conversations quieted. Heads turned. Samantha's smile froze when she saw me holding a folder. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, my voice carrying through the hall, "I apologize for the interruption. I won't keep you long. But since my daughter-in-law insists on introducing herself as the rightful inheritor of the Mitchell fortune, I thought tonight would be an appropriate time to clarify a few things." A ripple moved through the room. Samantha's father frowned, shifting uncomfortably in his seat. Samantha laughed, too quickly. "Oh, Richard," she said, using my name like honey laced with poison. "This isn't the time for—" "No." I cut in, my tone steel. "This is exactly the time." I opened the folder. Inside were the documents Samantha thought I didn't know about, the fraudulent transfers, the forged signatures, the shady accounts in her name. For weeks I had quietly gathered evidence, hiring an investigator, checking every line of paperwork. Samantha had been siphoning money from my late wife's charitable foundation into her own shell companies. And now, every guest in that room was about to know. "You see," I continued, holding up the papers so the front row could glimpse the damning signatures. While Samantha was busy posturing as the Mitchell family's shining jewel, she was also busy stealing, redirecting funds from a foundation meant for schools and hospitals into her own pockets. Gasps filled the hall. Someone dropped a glass. Samantha's face drained of color. That's absurd," she sputtered, her voice trembling. "This is a setup. He's lying." I didn't shout. I didn't need to. My calmness was louder than her shrieks. The bank records don't lie. Neither do the witness statements, or the fact that the board of trustees has already been notified. I let that hang in the air, savoring the way her bravado crumbled. "In fact, the authorities should be arriving any moment now." As if on cue, heavy footsteps echoed at the entrance. 2 officers stepped inside, their badges catching the chandelier light. A hush swept over the room. Samantha's eyes went wide. She stumbled back, her chair toppling with a crash. No. This is a mistake. "Daddy, tell them this isn't real." Her father wouldn't meet her gaze, his lips pressed into a thin, ashen line. The officers approached. One read her name, Samantha Carlisle Mitchell. Her breath hitched. You can't do this, not here. Not in front of everyone, but they did. They cuffed her wrists as the crowd whispered, shocked and delighted in equal measure. The glamorous Samantha dragged away like a common criminal, her crimson dress pulling awkwardly around her knees as she kicked and screamed. "Richard," she shrieked at me, her voice cracking with fury, "you'll regret this. Do you hear me? You'll regret it." I met her eyes one final time, and then I smiled. "No, Samantha. I think this time, I'll finally sleep well." The officers hauled her out, her protests echoing down the marble corridor. Silence followed, a silence so thick you could feel its weight pressing down on every guest. Then, slowly, the murmurs began. They weren't about me, they weren't about my late wife. They were about Samantha, her arrogance, her downfall, the sheer audacity of her betrayal, the scandal that would trail her name for the rest of her life. I sat back down, poured myself a glass of champagne and raised it calmly. "To my wife," I said softly, almost to myself, "she deserved better, and now she finally has justice." The next morning, the headlines told the story better than I ever could. Society heiress arrested for fraud at Mitchell estate dinner. Charity funds stolen by newlywed socialite. From high society to handcuffs, the fall of Samantha Carlisle. Her face was plastered everywhere, not with admiration, but with disgrace. The same guests who once fawned over her now whispered about her with glee. Her father disowned her publicly, her supposed friends cut ties overnight. And as for the inheritance she had schemed so desperately to control, frozen, locked behind legal walls she could never climb. Samantha had played her game well, but I had played it better. And in the end, she lost everything. I leaned back in my study that evening, the quiet ticking of the grandfather clock filling the room. For the first time since my wife's death, I felt a strange, peaceful satisfaction. Justice doesn't always come quickly, but when it does, it tastes sweeter than any champagne.